So, English winners, in this video, you are going to learn how to give a business presentation, perhaps to investors or other important people that can make a difference in your business. And you're going to learn how to do it in English. So check it out. So the first thing that you're going to do is connect with your audience. That means have a small conversation, talk about what they're interested in. I have a video that talks about form, family, occupation, relationships, and things like that. And you're more than welcome to check out that video at the end of this presentation. But until then, do a little bit of that, then maybe tell a short story or explain the problem that you're trying to solve so that they can connect with you and that they're ready to travel with you on that journey through the remainder of the presentation. So the next thing is to talk about your market, which is how many people have this problem and how many of them have solved it. And so, for instance, we could talk about, say, 100,000 people live in this geographic area, and 75% of them have cell phones, but only 25% have generators. That means that people can't charge their phones until they get to work in the city. And so this is a market, people who have a problem and need to get that problem solved. Of course, then you can talk about the best way to solve that problem. In my example earlier, that would be affordable access to power or charging your phone. Another thing to talk about is how well you've solved the problem so far. If you've come out with a product and it is already starting to sell, then include that. Sales do a lot in convincing people to invest in a new idea. If they can see that it's already kind of working, then that gives a lot of confidence. Next, and this might be right after you connect with your audience, you want to talk about your team. And the team will be usually someone who invented or created the product. Then you're also going to have someone who's really good with finances, someone who's really good with operations, and someone who's really good at selling. And out of all those, I'd say selling is probably the most important. But that doesn't mean you need 4 people to start a business. Sometimes one person can do all of it. But oftentimes you're going to have 2, 3, 4, or maybe more people that come together to form a team that can really make something happen. So introduce each member of the team and keep it short to the important parts. And so next, this is kind of why you're making a presentation. You need different things to run a business or to scale it up. That means to make the business larger. And so maybe that's warehousing, maybe that's the money to invest in producing things faster. Maybe it's in hiring more people. There's a lot of reasons you might want money to improve your business or why you are presenting to people. And so the things you need to make the business better, you need to include those in your presentation so people know why they are investing and why their investment will matter. Next, you'll want to have some competitive analysis. Is there another company currently trying to solve the same problem in your area? Maybe utility companies or high-powered generator companies. There's a lot of different types of people that could try to solve the same problem. Maybe they have the same product as you or maybe a different product. So include that in your presentation, the competitive analysis. And next, business projections. Now, there's several ways to make business projections. That's how much money you think you're going to make and how many expenses you think you're going to have. The important thing is margin, which is how much money is left after you make everything and sell it. How much money remains. That's your margin. So include that and try to be conservative in your projections. Don't tell everybody that they're going to become billionaires and nobody else is trying to solve the same type of problem. Be realistic and err on the side of it taking a little bit longer and things being a little bit more difficult. That way people have a realistic vision of the problems you may end up facing when you're doing this business. The big thing that they really want to see is not only margin, but also how much time it will take for them to earn their money back if they are investing with you. Will it take 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? They need to know. That way they can put together a deal for you in the terms that will be acceptable to you and to them. You need to back up your business projections with a cash flow statement. A cash flow statement shows where your money is coming in. Maybe it's business operations, maybe it's sales, maybe it's investments, and then where the money is leaving, maybe through loans, the business operations for rent and salaries, stuff like that. That's your cash flow statement. Next, you need your balance sheet. Now, cash flow statements, balance sheets, these things you might not have in concrete numbers if you have not started the business yet. But if you've been running for a little while, you should have these. And a balance sheet will show you the assets you own, the things that you can sell for money if you have to, the liabilities, the things you still have to pay, maybe loans or things like that, and then also equity, which is how much is already invested into the company. You also need to disclose shareholder percentages. Maybe one person in the business owns 50%, another person only owns 10, another person only owns 10, and another person owns 30. You need to know what those percentages are so you can declare that, and people will know what they can expect from doing business with you and investing money into your company. And that's part of the reason a balance sheet is so important. And then an income statement is just another way of showing where the money is coming in and where the money is going out. Next is milestones and goals. Where do you want to be in 3 years? Where do you plan to be in 5 years? And be conservative. Increase your anticipated expenses and decrease your anticipated income. If the business still looks good, then people will have a realistic vision of any problems that may come up during the course of investing with you. In the process of making your milestones and your projections, you should think about your income and your expenses, and then at the end, your net income, which is the amount of money that's left. All this should be based on industry standards. That means what other businesses like yours are trying to solve in that industry. And so if you are having trouble finding that information, look at publicly traded companies. That should give you some information. I know publicly traded companies are often much larger, but it gives you an idea of what their income is and what their expenses are as a percentage. And if you can be leaner than that, that means spending less money yet still earning a higher margin, then you are in a very good position. And so here's your final pitch. You want to present to them in their terms exactly how this investment will benefit them. Like if you invest $100,000 with us, we anticipate within 3 years you'll get your money back and you'll start seeing a 10% return on your money and some dividends. In the meantime, you'll be providing power to about 20,000 people who no longer have to drive all the way to work just to charge their phones. You'll be saving lives because people will have phones that work in case of emergency when they are at home. And so you have a whole lot of ideas for how their investment will not only solve the problem, but also benefit them. And so try to summarize that in just about 30 seconds. Try to keep it short and make sure to really know your numbers so that when they ask you questions, you can answer those questions, okay? So this is not everything that you could possibly know about giving a presentation. I just gave you a very good step forward in your presentation. You might also want to talk about branding, which is how your company will be perceived in the minds of people. What makes it different from everybody else. But other than that, that's it for giving a business presentation in English. Now you know some of the terms, so you can use them when you're making your presentations, when you're practicing, and when you're just having conversations with other business people. If you like this video, please check out my other videos, especially my one on form. You're going to like that one. It's about small talk. Very important. And then my listening playlist. Comment below if you have a business plan that you're working on in your studies. Until then, keep on winning, English winners. I will see you later.